Alright, I got a couple of, or a handful of questions about what I was doing on that first video. So I figured I'd just do a quick how-to, I guess, on Freddie Green style stuff. There's a handful of things I think you should really know. First thing being inversions. Uh, I don't think you can play this without knowing your inversions. Then the other thing is chord scales. Those are really handy for doing passing tone stuff. And really with those two things, you can really play quite a bit of stuff. There's other little tricks, like you can almost always throw in a little 2/5 before any change. Like if we stick with the chord progression that I was doing on the first video, the chords to Please Don't Talk About Me When I'm Gone, which is a measure of C, one measure of E7, 2 bars of A7, and then a bar of D7, a bar of G7, and then your turnaround. So the little 2/5 things, like if you're going to E7 from the C, you can throw in a quick 2/5 right before it. So I played a little 2/5 right before the E7, and you can do that on any change. But so I'm going to talk about inversions, and I play all my voicings 6th string, 4th string, and 3rd string almost exclusively. Every once in a while I'll play the root on the 5th string, but not very often. Just for fingering consistency more than anything. That, and let the bass player handle the roots. You don't need to. So anyway, if you take your C, first chord of the changes I'm using is C, and you play C, C major 7, or C6, you should know all of them. And you should know all your inversions for those. So just straight C major chord, and that's it. And then do your major 7. And this voicing with the major 7 in the bass is not one that I'm fond of, and I don't use it hardly at all, but it's good to know just in case you need it. Especially if you get a chart that has like a slash chord, it says C with B in the bass, then obviously you'll need to know it. But I don't use it very often if I'm just coming up with a line. And then your 6s. And then do your inversions for every chord in the progression. So I don't know, I'll do 2 bars of every chord that's in the progression. So C to E7, A7, D7, G7, back to C. And it's good to know your inversions all in one spot. So if I would try and stay in one position, I'll play through the whole progression and stay as close to one position as I can, just using inversions. And I'll talk about chord scales in a minute. But so So there, I stayed all as close to one position as I could. And that sort of thing comes in handy if you kind of get stuck in a spot. You can find an inversion anywhere you are. Another thing is practice each one of these things on its own. Like if you're going to practice throwing in little 2-5s, then take the whole progression and put 2-5s everywhere. But only do that one thing, so you get that thing kind of under your fingers, and then make up another exercise for like just doing inversions. Like I'll play that same progression with just putting 2-5s in between every chord. So here's that go. How that goes. So that was all 2-5s leading into the next chord. Here's a good one that I'm just going to use inversions, but going in one direction. So and that end, all I did was I just played just a straight G to G7, then back to C.